Hi friends, it's Mari here for Honeybee Stamps. I'm going to be creating a card today using a bit of mixed media. I'm going to be using my gel plate and this really fun scattered leaves stencil set. This is an older set, but it is a really fun set. I love it so much and I love that it's layerable, and I really wanted to use it with my gel plate. And so you can see I've got my gel plate on my desk. I'm going to be using some distress paint here. This is the Salvage Patina paint. This is actually a brand new gel plate. I haven't used this one yet, and I didn't condition it or anything, so you'll kind of see the paint bead on it a little bit, but that's okay, it's fine. It still works. And I'm just going to roll that paint out with my brayer here, and just going to get that so that it's covering the entire surface of my gel plate. And then I'll take the leaves stencil that has the open leaves on it, and we're going to make a print with that stencil on the gel plate. So I'm just going to place that stencil over the painted area on the gel plate, and then I'll just take a piece of white cardstock and press down on that on all of the different areas and just really let that adhere to the paper. And you'll just see me here just going and pressing on it, making sure that it's really nice and applied. And there you can just see it adds that really nice paint to the paper. Now this is a gorgeous stamp set. It's called Wildflowers. It's just so beautiful. It's one of my favorite sets from last year. And I'm going to take some really pretty bright green paint and I'm going to apply that with the brayer onto the stamp. And this is one of the foliage stamps from that stamp set. And I'm just going to apply it onto my gel plate, just kind of in random areas. And I'm just going to apply a little more paint on there. I will link up in the description box below to some paints that are similar colors to these if I can't find these exact paints that I used in the Honeybee shop here, but I will show or link up to something that's reasonably the same. I just showed you there how I'm cleaning the stamps, making sure that paint is off the stamps when I'm done with them. This is the butterfly stamp from the Wildflower stamp set, and I'm using a different color of green here, and I'm just going to stamp those onto the gel plate as well. Just really love that. I love using the gel plate because there's so many different ways that you can use it, and it's just so much fun. So I just wanted to get it out today and create this mixed media background. It is Green Week over at Honeybee Stamps. So we're celebrating a St. Patrick's Day week with all things that are green. Now I have let all of that paint dry on my gel plate at this point, and now I'm just going to apply a little bit of white paint. This is kind of actually it's more of a cream than a white, and I think I probably end up getting too much on here, so I'm just going to brayer some of that off, and I'm just going to go over it. And now I am going to take my paper that has the leaves on it, the blue leaves, and I'm going to just pick that up and put that over top of this, and this is just going to pick up everything that I have stamped onto my gel plate. Just going to press on this again here. You'll just see me making sure that I'm getting just a nice bit of pressure on there. I want this to be a little bit dry. I don't want it to be completely dry because I don't want my paper to tear, but I do want to just make sure that it's dry enough that it's picking up that paint off of the gel plate here. So I'm just kind of lifting the corner just to make sure that everything is lifting. And now you'll just see me here lifting and pulling that print off the gel plate. And we're just going to have just this really fun mixed media background. I love that. So just really, really beautiful. Now, I've let that dry. And now what I've done is I'm taking the detailed scattered leaves stencil, so the other layer of that stencil set, and I'm taking some grit paste, and I'm just going to go over top of my mixed media background from my gel plate, so my gel print, with some white grit paste. And this is just going to apply some really nice texture, and all of that color and pattern from my gel plate is just going to kind of poke out in between the leaves and just make this really fun, cool background. So we're going to have a really subtle amount of green on the card background, but isn't that stunning? I love that look. I'm a huge fan of white on a card, white space. I'm like that with my scrapbooking too. I just really like that. And I love this white grit paste over top. It's just really nice and opaque and bright white. Now I've placed a piece of white cardstock in my Mini Misty, and I have used my Rabbit Hole Design anti-static powder tool, which is sold in the Honeybee shop, by the way. I will link up to that in the description box. I'm using some of the Honeybee embossing ink over the butterfly stamp again from the Wildflower stamp set, and I've heat embossed those butterflies in gold, and you can see I die cut them out as well with the little matching die from the Wildflower die set. I'm just taking my heat tool to dry the grit paste a little bit. I'll set that all aside, and I'm going to get my sentiment ready to go for my project. This is the Kind Buzzword die and coordinating stamp set. The die set has 3 different sizes of the word kind. There's the scripty word kind, and then there's 2 shadows. I'm going to cut the middle layer, or the smallest shadow, out of gold metallic cardstock here. I'm just using my Gemini Mini here on my desk to cut that out. And I'm just gonna, there's that gold layer. Now I'm gonna cut the largest layer from vellum. So this is the largest shadow layer, which is also pierced. I love that. This Kind Buzzword set is gorgeous. And so I'm just going to die cut that, and I will show you that here, that I now have a vellum layer for behind the gold layer. And I'm going to cut the smallest, or the scripty word kind, just from some white cardstock. You'll see me using my Gemini Mini again here just to die cut this out. I love this little mini for these little jobs. It's really perfect. And now I'm just going to apply that white to the gold with a little bit of my Honeybee Precision Tip Glue Tube. I'm going to just put that onto the gold layer. And I actually am going to die cut another white kind out as well and add it over top just for a little bit more thickness in that top layer, and then I'm going to apply those all together. So now what I want to do is, I have my mixed media piece, I've got that cut down, and I want to apply this as a panel to my card base with a little bit of foam adhesive just to give it some dimension. So I'm going to cover the whole back of this panel with that foam adhesive, take that release paper off the back, and I'm going to apply that to a top folding A2 size card base. And I wanted to keep this over to the side a little bit. So you'll notice that this panel is not a full panel for the full size of the card. It's actually a little bit smaller. I'm going to keep it over to the left so that it's a little bit asymmetrical, and I'm going to let the sentiment hang over that edge. I just thought it would look a little bit more interesting in that way. Yeah, just something a little bit different. So here you can see I decided to also add a little bit of foam adhesive to my sentiment. And so the back of the gold metallic paper, I'm putting a little bit of foam adhesive on that, and I'm going to apply that to the vellum shadow layer. And that's just going to give this even more dimension and pop off of my card. Really, it does look really nice when it's all finished here. I'm just going to painstakingly take the rest of that release paper back off of that and add that with my Honeybee Precision tweezers onto my vellum layer. Just going to get that on there, and that will be all ready. So I'll be ready to embellish my card with this sentiment and my 3 little die cut gold embossed butterflies from the Wildflower set. So here you can just see I'm going to add that on with a little bit of liquid adhesive, and it's just going to hang over that edge of that mixed media background piece there. And I just think that looks really cool. Okay, so I'm going to also add a sentiment from the Kind Buzzword stamp set. And there's actually, I'm going to add 2 strips of sentiments, one to the top and one to the bottom, but you won't see the bottom one until after, because I totally forget to put it on here. But you'll see it at the end when I show you the finished card. And we're just going to add that to the top. And this says, I love your, and then kind, and then the word heart is going to be underneath the word kind. And it is gold embossed, that I love your and the word heart. So they're just gold embossed with the same gold embossing powder, just so that everything is matching up in that way. And I love how that gold metallic paper in the sentiment just looks nice with that gold heat embossed detail as well. I wanted to pop these butterflies up on a little bit of foam adhesive as well, just to give them a little bit of pop. And I'm also going to just bend the wings of the butterfly up a little bit as well to give them a little bit of dimension on the card also. So you can just see how the texture of those leaves with that grip paste just looks really interesting on the card. I hope that you can really see this detail on the video of the mixed media background, the gel print. It just looks really cool. And the different tones of green just make it look really pretty. It's definitely a green card, but it's a subtle green for sure. Now this is the Modern Spring Gem sticker sheet. I love these. They're so beautiful. There's so many different sizes of gems and so many really pretty soft colors, but I really wanted to use the soft green, and so I'm going to add those gems in a few places. And there you can see I've also added the rest of the sentiment, and my card is complete. I hope you enjoyed this today, friends. I really enjoyed making this for you today, and I have linked up to all of the different products from the Honeybee shop in the description box below. I'm just showing you here where I placed the gems on my card, and I'm going to give you just a close-up here of all of the pretty sparkle and shine. Have an amazing day, friends, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.